Judaism with Soul 25. How to have your mind stop wandering during davening prayer by accessing your subconscious mind. We find it very difficult to concentrate, to focus on prayer these days. It's hard to have kavanah. Why? We don't see the Shekhinah, we don't see God while we're davening, nor do we hear any response from Him. We feel like we're having a one-way conversation with no response. And because of this, our mind wanders to the pressures of the day, the previous call we had before we walked into synagogue, or the next business meeting we have, or the carpool we have to do. Our minds are racing. Very difficult to keep our minds focused, to have an attention span long enough for 45 minutes to daven properly. And therefore we find it very difficult to concentrate and to enjoy our davening. How do we rectify this problem? The Gemara tells us in Brachos, Dav Ches Amud Aleph, the following. The Gemara says, Amar Rav Chisda, Le'olam yechanes Adam shnei psachim bebeis hakneses. Always a person must enter into two doorways in the shul. Ask the Gemara, Shnei psachim salki daitach? You might think that there are two doorways. Perhaps there are not two doorways in the shul. Maybe the shul has only one doorway. What do you mean always a person must enter into two doorways? Answers the Gemara, Ela ema shiur shnei psachim va'achar kach yispala. The person must walk in the time it takes him to walk in as if there were two doorways in the shul, and then daven. How long is a doorway? What's the length of a doorway? A doorway is 4 amos. So 2 doorways is 8 amos. How long does it take you to walk 8 amos? Maybe 7 seconds, 8 seconds, 10 seconds. A person should walk in and not begin davening right away. But a person should walk in about 8 seconds, walk into the shul, wait 8 seconds, 10 seconds, calm himself down, and then begin to daven. That's the first eitzah of the Gemara, the first requirement, the halacha in the Gemara, the din in the Gemara, to be able to focus on our davening. Because once you walk into the shul and you're sitting by the door and you just begin to daven, your mind is still occupied with your previous conversation, your cell phone conversation, your business deal that you're working on, your next carpool, and therefore it's very difficult to leave the racing thoughts and the racing pressures of the day and enter into davening in a concentrated, kavanadik way. The Gemara says, therefore, walk in 10 seconds, calm down, chill, collect yourself, and then begin davening. The Maharal of Prague says the following. What is the meaning of Shnei Psachim? What is the meaning of 2 doorways? He says there are 2 doorways in the mind. The first doorway is the physical, materialistic, physical doorway, the things that we think about in our intellectual minds. And the second doorway is the spiritual doorway. We have to leave the first doorway, walk in 2 doorways, walk through the first doorway, and calm ourselves down from our physical distractions, our physical pressures, our physical anxieties of the day, and then stop that force, that power of the materialism over our minds, and then enter into a second doorway. The second doorway is the spiritual doorway. We're able to focus on a conversation with Hashem, even if it's a one-way conversation with Hashem. It's a one-way conversation that we are connecting, we are striving, we are yearning to connect with Hashem, to the source, and therefore that is the meaning of Shnei Psachim. My interpretation of the Maharal is as follows. How do you enter into the second doorway? The first doorway, walk in, take a few seconds, 5 seconds, chill, relax, breathe, do a mini relaxation technique, and then the second doorway is called, in my view, soul state or neshama state. What is soul state? Soul state is a process of accessing your subconscious mind. How do you do this? The subconscious mind is accessed by leaving the intellectual racing thoughts, the moach, and entering into the emotional self. You have to make yourself emotionally prepared, emotionally open to talking to God from a spiritual level. You can't do this when your mind is filled with, occupied with racing thoughts of business meetings and carpools and grocery lists and issues and challenges and mortgage payments. You're fighting this intellectual static and your electricity in your mind. Not possible to enter into a spiritual connection with God if you're in the physical world, if you're in the mind world. And therefore, the static electricity in our minds must be moved up to a new level, leave this static, and enter into this part of you, the emotional part. We have 3 parts of ourselves: the mind, the neshama, the ruach, the emotions, and the body, the nefesh. How do you enter into the emotional self? The emotional self is accessed by going to a place in your mind, or in your being, or in your heart, where you actually felt emotionally calm. So I want to invite you to go in your memory bank and go to a place where you felt calm. When did you experience a sense of inner peace and inner calm, inner tranquility, serenity? Where did you go? There must be a place that you've gone to, visited, a vacation, a summertime, someplace you've gone, even if it's 20 years ago, 30 years ago, doesn't matter. A place where you felt, this is my beautiful place. Where is your beautiful place? My beautiful place is Ein Gedi, the waterfalls in Nachal David in Ein Gedi near Masada. When I go there, I feel, and I invite you to go to your place. Where's your place? Your place could be the Grand Canyon, the expanse of the Grand Canyon, a beautiful mountain, a meadow, a field, a farm, an orchard, Niagara Falls, a beautiful beach, the waves, Hawaii, any beautiful place you've been to in your life that makes you feel calm and relaxed. But here, not here, makes you feel, leave the mind, enter into the emotional state of calm and relaxation. How do you feel when you go there? Let me tell you how I feel. I go to Ein Gedi and I feel a sense of calm comes over me. I feel the water spraying on my face. I feel a sense of peacefulness, serenity, tranquility. I feel connected. I feel free. I feel liberated from the pressures of the life. I go there and I feel a sense of emotional calm and serenity within me. How do you feel? Now, once you feel that way, that feeling is because you are experiencing a beautiful place, a beautiful emotional experience, an emotional feeling within you. And there's a correlation between the beautiful place that you're seeing and your best attribute. So when I go to Ein Gedi to me is a creative place. There is water turning around a corner. There is water flowing out of the main waterfall. There's water dripping along the rocks. There's a water pool. There is moss growing. I turn around and see the bulrushes. I see the mountains in Ein Gedi. I see the Dead Sea. I see the mountains of Moab, of Jordan. And I see this beautiful place. I say, this is so creative. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God is so creative. What a creative scene. It's a picture-perfect scene. To me, when I'm seeing creativity, it reflects my own creativity. When you're seeing a beautiful place, what you're seeing is yourself in nature. You're seeing your best attribute. My best attribute is creativity. I'm drawn to Ein Gedi because it's a creative scene. And I connect with, I have an affinity toward Ein Gedi because my soul, which is creative, is seeing the creativity in Ein Gedi. For you, what is your best attribute? Is it warmth, sensitivity, calm, kindness, flowingness? If it is, I suggest that your beautiful place is probably a beach, probably a place of water, a place of flowing, a river, and a brook. Because a brook, water, a stream, a beach, represents flow. Flow, when you see flow and you're inspired by that, it's because your soul is flowing. Your soul is a giving, flowing, natural personality of giving, of nurturing, of sensitivity, of chen, of warmth, empathy, sensitivity. So when you are inspired by a beautiful place which is made of water, it's because your soul's best attribute, which is flowing, nurturing, sensitivity, flowing water, the beach of water, the water flows, it gives, comes to the beach. So too you are such a person, a flowing, giving nature. So what you're doing is when you are inspired by water, it's because your soul is intuiting itself in the water. Your soul is intuiting itself in the beach. So the flow of your personality is in tune with, is in sync with the flow of the beach, the water, the stream, the brook. If your personality is one of strength, dynamic, outgoing, powerful, visionary, creative, you might be seeing a mountain. And I suggest that if your personality is one of outgoingness, dynamic, charismatic personality, strong will, you're probably going to relate to better a mountain, a cliff, the Grand Canyon, a view, a high view on a high mountain. That's visionary. That's a powerful view. That represents your powerful personality. So there's a correlation, usually, between your personality, your best attribute, and the beautiful place you're seeing. If your beautiful place is a rock, a hard place, a strong place, a mountainous place, a Grand Canyon type of place, even Niagara Falls, a strong water place, a strong, powerful, rushing water, you're probably a person who is visionary, who's strong, who's a leader, who's charismatic, who's ambitious, who's driven. That represents because your soul is driven and it sees the drivenness in the rock, the vision, the creativity, the power in the rocks and the mountains. If you're a gentle personality, if you're a warm personality, if you're a compassionate, nurturing personality, your best place is probably a brook, water, a stream, a beach. That's correlation. Now this correlation represents the idea that your midah tova, your best midah, you see it, you intuit it in this place. If you go to this beautiful place, let's say En Gedi, let's go to the beach, and you experience this calm, what you're really seeing is that you're approaching God from your highest attribute. When you daven to God, da lifnei mi ata oimed, know before whom you are standing. You have to know who you are. Who are you? You are the place of fusion of body and soul. What is that place of da'as, the chibur, the connection of mind, heart, and action? That is your highest attribute. That is the empty space within you. That's the true self. The true self within you is a part of you which reflects God. The part of you which reflects Hashem is the midah tova that He gave you. So if your midah tova is chesed, is chen, is rachamim, is empathy, is sensitivity, and you're seeing yourself in that water, your soul is seeing itself in water, in the beach, in that flowing water, that brook, then what you're doing is you're experiencing your chen, your chesed, your rachamim, and that is the atah which is connecting to the source of that rachamim. Hashem is the source of rachamim, chesed, chen, flowing and nurture, and your neshama is connecting to its source. So when you go to this beautiful place, and you recognize that that beautiful place is you, if it's water, let's say, if it's water and it's a beach, and that represents your kindness, your chesed, your chen, I say, I have chen, I have chesed in me, I have warmth in me and sensitivity in me. The source of that sensitivity is Hashem's 13 attributes, which are Rachum, V'chanun, Erech Apayim, V'rav Chesed. So that's the source of who I am. And I feel it, I experience it by going to this beautiful place. So I go to this beautiful place, this beautiful experience, the water, the beach, and I feel that represents my best midah, which is chesed and chen and flowing personality and nurturing personality. And I recognize that comes from the source. And then I bring it down. I go Baruch, Baruch. I bring down that midah. I bring down that attribute from God. God is the source. Baruch means you are the source of blessing. Not I bless you, God, but you are the Makor HaBracha. So Baruch means Baruch. You are the source of my chesed. You are the source of my chen. You're the source of my creativity. And I go Baruch, I bring it down. Baruch. Ato, I bow down at the waist and I say, thank you, Hashem. I'm conscious of who I am. I'm conscious of my Ata, of myself. Thank you for giving me Ata, thank you for giving me a self. Thank you for giving me my personality, my attributes that you imbued in me. Baruch, I bring it down. Ata, thank you. And then when I stand up, I say, Hashem, don't let me rise, let me emerge from the travails of this world, the crises of this world, with my best midah and serve you with my best attribute. Serve you with my chesed, my chen, my nurturing today. So Baruch, I bring it down. Ata, thank you. And Hashem, I serve you. If your midah tova is dynamism, leadership, power, ambition, driven, charismatic, and your vision, your beautiful place is a mountain range, is a beautiful view, is a strong Grand Canyon or a strong Niagara Falls, then you bring that down. You say, Baruch, I bring down the midah tova that is my kale, aleph lamed, my kale, my emes, my creativity, my resilience, my power. I bring it down, Baruch. I bring it down, Baruch. You're the source, and I relate to it, Baruch. Ata, thank you for giving me my strength, Hashem. I rise and I emerge from the turmoils of life. Let me serve you with my strength, my conviction, my personality, my dynamism, my outgoing nature today. That's Baruch Ata Hashem. And in this way, when you approach God from the soul, from the emotional self, which leads to the spiritual self, then you can focus on having a conversation with God from here. When your neshama, your essence of neshama, which is your attribute, your best attribute, when that connects to the source of the attribute, then you are in alignment. In that place, in that connection, you will not be distracted. Why? Because you're in a soul connection. You're not thinking, you are experiencing God from the soul. You only get distracted because you're thinking about God, thinking about the words. Experience the words from here. Baruch atah Hashem, Elokeinu v'Elokei Avosinu, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov. Speak from here. Experience God from here. Connect with God from here, from your emotional self, which leads to a spiritual connection. That's the second doorway talked about by the Maharal. That's the soul state. And in this fashion, a person can connect with God and maintain by accessing your subconscious mind, accessing your highest self, your subconscious mind. Now mine is creativity. So I see the Ein Gedi's place. And the Ein Gedi is to be creative. So I bring down my creativity. Baruch, I bring down creativity. Ata, thank you for making me creative with my ideas, my psychotherapy, my lectures, my books. Let me serve you with my creativity today. Baruch Ata Hashem. Let me serve you from that creativity today. And that's my approach to accessing your subconscious mind. Once you're in that place, that subconscious mind, and you're accessing that connection to God on a spiritual level, on a soul level, on a subconscious mind level, you're into the subconscious mind. Subconscious mind is not so complicated. It's beyond the mind into the subconscious mind, which means what you're all about, what your soul is about, why you're here. You're here because you want to actualize your best attributes. God gave you these attributes. He chose you to give these attributes. You chose them. You accepted that mission. That's 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Lecture 1, 2, 3, and 4 of Judaism with Soul. 1, 2, 3, and 4, which I talked about the idea that God invited you to come into this world by choosing these midos. You chose those midos because those are the midos you use to rectify, to actualize yourself. I bring them down every Shachris, Mincha, Marav, morning, afternoon, and evening, and I have a spiritual connection with God. In this way, my mind will not wander because I'm connected spiritually to Hashem. Now, where is the source in this idea? Where do we get the idea that this looks like? What does this look like? Baruch Ato Hashem. What does it look like? When I get into this position of Baruch Ato Hashem, I emerge from a place when I'm into this rolled up position, and I emerge, my neck goes up and I emerge. That looks like what? That looks like a baby being born. A baby in the mother's womb looks like this, and then it comes out of the womb by lifting its neck and entering into the world. Now, where is the source of this idea? I suggest to you that this idea of davening Shemona Esrei in this way, from the second doorway of the Maharal, the second doorway of the spiritual doorway, is actually rebirth. It's actually, we're going into the womb, Baruch Ato Hashem, and we're being reborn, Shachris Mincha Marav, reborn into the world. Now in this way, we're going to stay connected, stay alive, stay aligned, stay focused, because we want to feel that connection. Our neshama is connected to the source neshama. Where is the source for this idea? So I found an incredible commentary from the Tanya Rabasi. The Tanya Rabasi is Rav Shimon ben Shaul Horovitz, who lived at the time of the Maram Rottenburg. And he says in his Sefer Tanya Rabasi, on page 17 and 18, he says the following: B'tshuvas hagoinim, in the responsa of the goinim, Zichron Livracha, Kisha Adam karua b'modim, when a person bends down at modim anachrulach in Shemona Esrei, he bends down and davens and he bows at the waist. In modim, tzarich lo lichroa ad birkav, he has to bow all the way to his knees. He can't just say but modim. He must but modim all the way down to the waist, all the way down to his knees. Why? He says the following: Lefi shehayeled beodo bimei imoy loishoy munach ben shtei yerechav. Because a baby, when it's still in the womb of its mother, its head is rolled up between its thighs. So modim is a reenactment of a baby in the womb with his head down. And when you go down as a child, a baby, and you emerge from the womb, it's like you're emerging from Shachris, from Mincha and Marav, into the world to lead, to express yourself before God. Da lifnei mei ata oimed. Know before whom you are standing. You are the expression of God. What expression of God are you? When you experience that beautiful place, and you know that beautiful place is your best attribute that God gave you. You bring it down, you bring down that attribute. Baruch atah Hashem. So Baruch atah Hashem. I'm like a baby being born at Shachris, at Mincha and Mariv. The next 5 hours I'm going to serve God from a rebirthed position. And says, it ends the Tanya Rabasi, Lefichach tzarich lasuach al birkav. Therefore, a person must bend down all the way and lasuach, either daven or bend down and humble himself on his knees. So therefore, we have a source from the period of the Maram in Rottenburg of the Tanya Rabasi, who says that tefillah, the Shemona Esrei, is an experience of a baby in the womb. And when we go down into the womb and we come up again and we emerge, that is a rebirth. That's an opportunity that we have. Will our minds be distracted if we're living with God on that level? Our minds only distracted because we are distracted by the mind, the static electricity in our minds. But we're not davening from there. We're davening from the soul. We're davening from the spiritual self. We access it through the emotional self, going to the beautiful place, accessing your beautiful Midah Tova, experience it, bring it down, rebirth yourself into the world, and serve God from a position of rebirth. And that way, we can maintain an access to our subconscious mind. Now, lastly, when we are in this subconscious state, and we are connected to God, and our Midah Tova, our best attribute, is connected to God, you can ask God something, and you can hear the answer. Your soul is on a level where it can hear the answer. God will not speak to you. God doesn't speak to us with Nevuah anymore. We lost Nevuah. But what you will do is you'll be able to access your own inner answers inside yourself. When you access this part of yourself, your inner self, your inner subconscious mind, you'll be able to hear your own self answer yourself, because it's as if God is going to inspire you by being aligned with Hashem, by your Midah being connected to God's Midah Tova, the source Midah. You can actually listen to the answer. So you ask the question when you're in Shemona Esrei, before you take 3 steps back in Shemona Esrei, how can I find happiness? Quiet. Shh. Listen to the answer. How can I have a better marriage? Oh. How can I inspire my children? Listen. When you're aligned with Hashem, your subconscious mind is aligned with God, then you are tzafsa, you're connected to God, then the soul will intuit, will hear. Can I be sure, absolutely sure that it's God talking to you? No. But I do venture an educated guess, that when you do this, you can hear things you would not otherwise hear when your mind is filled with static electricity. You'll hear the higher self speaking, the higher calling, the higher neshama speaking to you. And therefore God can guide you in this connection. But we have to put ourselves in that connection. So in order to cause our minds to stop wandering, we have to put ourselves in the second doorway, as the Maral says, and put ourselves in a place where we are connect with God on a deeper level. That's our avoda. That's our work. Tefillah is avoda shebalev. It has to be work. It can't be just you expect to get to God and connect with God by just going like this. Rather, it's an avoda of personal introspection and depth of work, accessing the subconscious mind. In that fashion, we'll connect with God on a deeper level. Our minds will not wander. We'll have kavanah. We'll have connection. We'll have a dveikus with Hashem. In that fashion, we'll feel inspired by davening. We'll love davening. I love going to davening. I love connecting with God. Shachris Mincha Mariv. It's not a chore to me. And I wish, and I hope and pray, my bracha to you is, it will not be a chore to you. If you listen to this program, if you try this idea, if you access it, you too will have a taste of what it means to daven with dveikus, daven with sweetness, with mesikus. In that fashion, we'll be able to have our minds not wander, but connect to God in a beautiful, serene, tranquil avodas Hashem.